What is going on, Scrub fam? It's Zapp coming at you with a video. I know it's been a little bit. First and foremost, thank you all for the patience. Without wasting all your time, basically, we were planning for a move, and then that didn't happen, and the holidays have been getting interrupted. But I finally have some downtime, and I wanted to make a video. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about these new and exciting Surge leaders. As you may know, we have two, a Gohan Piccolo leader and SSG Son Goku Surge Divinity. And what I wanted to do is kind of like 3-4 months ago where we made a video talking about Toa when Toa was released and my thought process going through building version 1.0 of that deck. I want to take some time to do the same with the Surge Divinity leader. So for those of you that don't know how this leader works, first and foremost, it is a red and yellow leader, which two color leaders, mind-blowing. We haven't seen anything like it in the past. And while that is really cool in the way that we get access to some new cards, it also gives us some new vulnerabilities. For example, being red and yellow means that Haru Haru and Tien Shinhan can both be countered against us, which is definitely something to consider. But really, I want to focus on these leaders' strengths to come up with what kind of niche Surge Divinity could have in the format. So for those of you that don't know what the card does, when this card attacks, draw 2 cards, then choose 1 card in your hand, place it in the drop area. Pretty straightforward, reminds you of something like Harudagarn, except you get to see the cards that you draw before you discard, which obviously is better than discarding and then drawing. Now, the way Awakened Surge works is at any point in the game. It can be turn 1, it can be turn 10, you can be at 8 life, you can be at 1. Draw 3 cards. I'm sorry, you take 2 cards. 1 card has to be red, or it can be dual. Other card has to be yellow, or red, yellow, dual. There could be any combination of duals, actually. But you take those 2 cards, you put them underneath the leader. Then you draw 3, so you're plussing 1 from your hand. You untap 1 energy, and then you flip the leader over. And then the leader has 2 effects. Both of them can be activated during Activate Battle or Activate Main. And you have to have 5 or less life. So in general, while you can awaken before you get to 5 life, these effects are most impactful once you're at 5. 2 options. 1, choose all your opponent's battle cards, you ignore barrier, and you negate their skills for the entire turn. So you can interrupt things like Swap into Height of Mastery. You can interrupt Union Absorb if they try to swing with Mirror Self-Reformation before evolving into Mirror Creator Absorbed. You can stop something like Gogeta Hero Revived trying to swing at you for Triple Strike or Triple Strike Critical and just make it a single strike. Pretty cool. Or you can get plus 10 and critical for the turn. Now I want to note with the second effect that it is Activate Battle. So what you can do is on defense, you can put a card underneath him to the drop, and then bam, he becomes 25 base for the turn, almost like double Senzu Bean defense. It's not something to be slept on. In addition to that, he's a Red Saiyan, which is cool. Gives him access to cards like Triple Flash and Gogeta 6-drop and 8-drop. And then that's about it. Really cool leader. I think when people look at it from a competitive standpoint, we see that it has a lot of similarities to the Series 8 Beerus leader. 1, the unawakened form draws. B, it is a untap leader. Well, untap 1, draw 1 versus untap 2. And then we see that he doesn't draw awakened. So a lot of similarities there. Also, the third effect, or the second effect of the Surge, which is plus 10 and critical, kind of resembles comboing a plus 10. It makes for a pretty neat leader. But what we want to do from a competitive standpoint is figure out how this leader can differentiate himself from good old Beerus. So from a deck building perspective, first step for me is looking at what the leader does unique. So the goal is to make it unique from Beerus. So the ways it's unique. It's a Saiyan. It's also yellow. And anything else unique that the leader does. Untap 2 versus untap 1 isn't exceptionally unique. But I guess it's getting critical is pretty unique. Not a lot of leaders can do that right now. So, let's take some notes here. This is one of those instances where DBS decks, well, I think Shenron's Lair is very helpful for an organized deck builder. DBS deck has a little more functionality with its search engines. So one of the things we can do is look for something like if your leader is yellow. And then we can use this to see what niche cards this deck can play that say something like Beerus can't. Battle to the Death, so that's a unique card. Let's make some notes here. Bardic Father and Son. So if you wanted to make a ape variant, you could play Bardic Father and Son. Not sure if that's great, but we'll note it. Emperor 7 Frieza. That's an interesting quirk, but I don't think it's something that's good enough. Brilliant Pairing Kefla. That's interesting, because I know that Universe 6 Beerus actually made a pretty big splash at the last regional, and it's cool that that leader can play Brilliant Pairing. Is it good enough? Maybe, but I'm reluctant just because so many of the other cards demand blue or yellow leaders. Well, we'll make a note of it. Page 2. Frost, that's not unique. Oh, boys, we can play Rikuma Racer Gun. Raiders Warcry, that seems good. No openings. I don't know how much Awakening we're going to have to play. Getting to 5 isn't outstandingly difficult, and chances are if you're getting to 5, you're probably winning anyway. So we can hold off there for now. Swift Retaliation Cooler. That is what we call a good card. Swift 2-0 Marcus Cantarsi. Vegeta's a Master Temperament. That probably... I'm inclined to believe that it's probably not good enough. Getting a Cabba to stick seems a little bit hard. Okay, and then we also have the fact that he is a Saiyan. That was a bad search. Let's see, how can we do this? Red Saiyan? Nope. What's a card that operates that we're thinking about? Red Saiyan, so like Triple Flash. So the text on Triple Flash is... Oh yeah, that was an errata, so that's a bad example. What's another card? The 8-cost red Gogeta. Leader card is a Saiyan. Let's start with this and see what kind of search results this gets. Ooh, we can play Striker Bardock. Let's see, anything else? That's all Frieza stuff. That's all Frieza stuff. Piccolo's Wish. Frieza's Army. Frieza's Army. Ooh. We can play Vaku stuff. So we could build this as a red Gogeta BR deck, but would it do better? So the discard draw 2, that's very similar to red Gogeta BR. But the counterplay effect probably makes red Gogeta BR better if you're playing those subpar 1-drops in the first place. Not really. So if my search is going well, looks like it's not too helpful. So being a Saiyan doesn't have any super strong impacts. But being yellow is definitely distinctual. And then getting critical on the back, that's something we can think about. Fearless Pan. So maybe it's a Familiar Bonds deck. good thought. That's where we're at. Cool. So, how do I foresee these leaders being different? Beers is unique because he doesn't need to attack to draw, which means he's getting more plus through the beginning of the turn, or from the beginning of the game. If he goes first, he's going to see another card that the Goku deck wouldn't. And then turns 2, turns 3, turns 4, if the leader doesn't want to attack, they don't have to. Beerus also being able to, on its awakened form, being able to bring in arrival cards inexpensively means that if we try to build an arrival heavy deck, it's probably going to be inferior to Beerus. So we probably need to do something more aggressive and lower to the ground. There's definitely cards that can do that. Actually, another card. I don't know if Almighty got brought up. So Almighty Resistance, if your leader is red. So Beerus can actually play that too. That's an interesting note in addition to the deck. But again, both leaders can do that. So needs to be aggressive. So maybe Universe 6 is the way to play it. Trying to think how the other effects synergize, and it doesn't synergize too well. You know, you could go Khalifa 1-drop into Khalifa 4, but again, you'd rather have a 4 cost. And does Surge of Divinity do that better than Broly? It might, because you could discard cards early on for Kale, and Kale could retrieve that early. Let's look at the Universe 6 stuff real fast and see if anything else has major payoff with a yellow leader. Choose up to red. That could be cool. Champa Beerus is interesting. Can't play the hit stuff, so that's not worth it. Khalifa the Helion demands yellow Universe 6, so that's probably not worth. Not seeing much. So I think, yeah, the only cool thing we're doing is Kale. And I think the Broly deck's going to do that better. So let's pass on that too. Though chances are, I think this leader would do Universe 6 3-color better than Beerus. But I think this needs to be a lower to the ground, more aggressive deck than even that. So let's get to building. I like Fearless Pan, and I like Familiar Bonds. We could even play Digging Deep. And then... Oh, okay, so you can get the 4-star balls off Digging Deep. And then... Or you get Familiar Bonds. Familiar Star Bonds gets the 4-star balls. You're discarding your targets out of the gate with the leader. And then once you play Familiar Bonds, you can then discard the 4-star balls. That seems really good. So let's start with that. So Bonds, Familiar Bonds. Let's go with 4. Spreading out the corner of the stone of the deck. 4-star ball. We could play Son Goku if we wanted to be a more defensive deck, but again, the more defensive we're trying to play, the better off we probably are switching from Goku to Beerus. So let's lean heavily on what we have here. Fearless Pan. Other cool red battle cards. Mighty Master probably isn't worth. So it has to be a Saiyan too. So might as well make that addition to. This is another time where DBS Dex is actually going to be more helpful because we can put the we can change this to Saiyans here. Saiyans. Okay. So, red. Saiyan card cost should be 2 to 3, but I know there aren't any in the 2 costs that really get me super excited other than maybe the super combo. We just want battle cards. Strange. This filter's not going very well. Ripperoni. Oh, ability Unleash Gohan might be worth. We'll scroll through these quickly. So it's unfortunate that we're not filtering out everything but Saiyans. If it's not quite good enough. Burst attack could be good, especially when your leader's not drawing after you flip. We'll add 1 just as a reminder. Might not actually make the cut. Actually, it might be worth looking at what Gohans, because most of the things you get are Gohans. A lot of Gohans in the good 2 to 3 cost spot. Ability Unleashed is okay. Burst attack is okay. Alright. Good enough. Alright. Yeah, actually, I honestly think this is about the best we're going to get. I know off the top of my head there's not any other red Saiyans that get me super excited. Glory Obsessed is okay. If you want to do a baby deck, Great Apes on Goku, ability amplified. So that could go into Heartfelt Plea, which Heartfelt Plea is definitely going to be a cornerstone of this deck. Because we draw more, we can time our Awaken, so Fearless. Yes, Heartfelt Plea becomes the cornerstone, and then things like Dignity plus 4-star Ball sets things up well. So I definitely think that's where we're gonna go. So it's a better, more aggro Heartfelt Plea deck with yellow exclusive. Cool. Alrighty. So we know we're not going to play Kefla there. Critical on the back. That might just be a synergy with Fearless Pan. It'll come up. Cool. Actually, I didn't realize how short that was. Let's see if we can make this a little bit longer. There we go. There you go. Actually, we will just take my image and we'll move this over here a little bit. There you go. Sorry about that. All right. Alrighty, as we were. So we got 4 Mary Bonds, we got Pan, we got Diggity, we got 4-star. Definitely want Heartfelt. It's gonna be a cornerstone of the deck. For those of you that don't know, the turn you awaken, you can play Heartfelt Plea. And Heartfelt Plea is actually a Goku GT. So we could do some cool combos with Triple Flash. So like we could go Triple Flash and then Awaken, and then Triple Flash becomes SS4, or SS4 and then we offering, we draw 2 and then we pay 1 to evolve into Triple Flash and get to go another 2 times. That seems really good. Plus, yep. So, He swings. Yeah, that seems great. So how do we take more advantage of that? So untapped power becomes 30k. It could also become that instantly. It could also become Heartfelt Plea. And then you also have there's a couple yellow guys here too. SS3 Goku Ever Evolving. So that card can become this card on turn 3 or 4. That's not too bad. Okay, so let's do some things here. Where is the 3 drop that becomes a 5? For some reason, it's not on here. So Goku 3 cost, red, yellow. Red, red, red. Oh, here it is. Determined. So we'll pop in a couple of those bad boys. We'll pop in Topo. Topo's pretty sick. I love Topo in these decks because it allows you to go 4-star ball and then Topo plus is the 25. Or if you put in Fearless Pans, so right now we have 3. That's just another way to resolve Heartfelt Plea. Another thing you can do is if you, let's say you're at 6 life, right? And they attack Topo with their 15k leader. So I can after image and I can shrink something. And now my Topo goes from like 20k to 60k. And now he's a target for Heartfelt Plea. Plus after image gets fueled by sparking and sets you up to, excuse me, to easily go into the Awaken 5, Search 5 so you can go off. That seems super cool, actually. So, Burst Attack probably doesn't make it in here at this point. Yeah, this is really cool. Is there anything else we can do? Are we going to consistently get... See, my only concern is I don't know how often we're going to actually get triple flash to resolve. My gut's telling me that it might be a little bit hard. Well, we got 3 determined Gokus. But the other thing, too, is we need to consistently be able to pump triple flash to the right, to a high number. Actually, now that we're going to Goku, we can actually play the Pan Ape Whisperer, right? So let's take a peek there. Pan, anyone can be played. If your life is 2 or less, when your card activates Awaken, play this card from your hand. Choose up to 1 yellow battle card, switch to active. Yeah, so this is something that Beerus can't do. This might be good. It'd also be nice to have a little bit more yellow in the deck. But honestly, I don't even know if we're going to cast yellow cards for energy. This probably ends up looking like a mono red deck without actually being mono red, which is kind of cool. Pan can get played for free. What else can we do to boost Fearless Pan as a pump? We can do combo attack Pan. So combination Pan comes in for free. So he has to have 25k in the first place, and then you can play it for free. That doesn't seem bad. Is there anything else we can do to get some boosts here? Final Guardian is cute because you can use it defensively to pump your Topo by 5k and then make him Heartfelt Plea, but I don't think we're actually going to need to do that too often. +5. Planet M2 doesn't really help much. Bingo Tournament is cool, but not good enough. One drop Frieza would actually be really funny. We used to do that all the time back with the old... Actually, is that good enough? Dude, it might be. I actually think it is. So what we'll do is we'll pop in 2 copies of Frieza here. You have so many good cards, not too many dead things that you have. So that can just be a simple way to take your energy and combo up. So it'd be like you're sitting there on a dependable that you paid 3 for, or 2 for. And then you go play Frieza, pump by 5, swap back to hand, don't play anything, play it again, pump another 5. That seems really good. So we'll play 2 copies there. Okay, so let's see where our deck this is at so far. So far we have, I think, 35 cards. It said. We don't have super combos yet, so we'll need to add those. We definitely have our closers. We don't have any overwhelm yet, and we don't have anything to do in the early games. What can we do early in aggressive deck? Saiyan Kaba, intensifying power trunks. There's a really cool play where you can do Dark Invitation, I believe it is, Toa, to untap and then put him back and let him swing again. But it's a bummer. I think he's the only card that could do that. Is that worth? I think so. Well, let's do this. So first of all, super combos. Is there any objectively correct super combos within red or yellow? I don't think he qualifies for any 5 or less. We could do sparking, but I think we're better off 4 or less. I guess you'd want something that you could revive off familiar bonds, so it's probably red Goten. And then we want Saiyan Kaba in the early game. That puts us at 47. And then any of these other cool yellow cards that we could play. Radius Warcry seems good. That puts us at 50. But we're not playing any Almighty Resistances. Almighty Resistance needs a yellow tapped, right? Because it's a dual color, I believe. And while we could charge one, I don't know if we're actually going to charge a yellow frequently enough, because right now we only have 5 yellows. And you need to discard a yellow for it. That does seem like a shame, but it is what it is. Yeah, I really like this energy here. After Image is going to help us awaken. Not that we need a lot of self-awakening, but between digging deep and familiar bonds, we should have an excessive amount. Yeah, no Overwhelm seems like the big thing we're missing. So the Overwhelm I was thinking about a Dark Rejuvenator Toa. So choose one of your battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less and switch it to active. So right now the only target it gets is Saiyan Kaba. But if you play Dark Rejuvenator Toa into Saiyan Kaba, then he can swing twice. I don't know if that's worth it. Furthering Destruction Champa is probably pretty good here, especially with your leader having critical out of nowhere. So let's do that. Well, even if we're adding a couple too many cards right now, we can come back later. Also, let's do cheeky things like Try to sneak in with a combination attack pan for game. Yeah. So this is a pretty aggro deck. We're at 52 cards right now. Anywhere we can cut. I don't see anywhere off the top of my head. What's the TOA that says if your leader is yellow? Does it pump the leader? Does it pump anything? If your leader card is green or yellow, choose one of your leader cards. So it doesn't actually pump. Couldn't pump a heartfelt plea target, which is a bit of a bummer. This seems like it. We do need an overwhelm. Yeah, no, this isn't it. Yeah, so we still need an overwhelm, and we still probably want an ultimate. The ultimate could be... Cammy, what ultimate do we play? Cammy? Should we do SS4? Should we do Negaball? Yeah? You think we should do Negaball? How much removal do we have? We don't have a lot. And we'll be putting a lot of battle cards in the drop quickly. So, yeah, I'm down with that. Negaball. And then how are we closing the game out? Did we manage to... So right now we do have Furthering Destruction Champas in. It's a shame because we could do Furthering Destruction Champa plus Almighty Resistance if we put more yellow in the deck. But honestly, I don't think we're going to be able to. But that seems like one of the... Bow to Death of something we could side deck. No, this is good. Let's just put in a couple Mirror Creator Absorbed in the main deck, and then we can side into the yellow stuff. Yeah, that makes tons of sense to me. Mira. Okay. All right, so there's our 55 card main deck. Now we just need to trim down. We only need one freeze over the course of a game. Raider's Warcry. 3 seems right. So you have some easy discards in this deck. Determines. We can go to 3 here. We can try going to 2, but I think you're going to want it, man. That puts us at 50. Where do we cut? Where do we cut? We could cut Creator Absorbed and make Creator Absorbed through the Dark Banisher. That would help against Hatchiyak. Do we have a rough Hatchiyak matchup? Yeah, we probably do. So we'll go that route. And I guess we can side into Mirror. We'll go from 2 to 1 just because it'll be hard to cast 2 over the course of a game. And we don't have to discard anything if we don't want to. Force Art Ball could go down to 3. But Familiar Bond seems so important, and we don't mind discarding 4-star balls, that I think will be okay. We could cut Heartfelt Plea to 3. It's something that you're only going to resolve 1 in a game, but when you do see it, you always want it. So it feels like a catch-22. We'll go... Gotta be decisive, Zapp. Topo can't go last. Topo's so bloody good right now. We'll just take one Raiders Warcry and put it in the side. That's fine. Okay, so go to the side. So the side deck is going to be more like stuff that we want to see in the deck. So we got Fu. We can go with Mirror Creator Absorbed. We can toss 2 copies in there. We can go Almighty Resistance. We can have like 2 copies of that. I heard Bad Ring Laser is pretty good. So we need enough yellow to charge. we'll toss in Warcry, and then what's another good generic yellow card? What else do we lose to? We need to support Nimbus. We can't play Chomp of the Trickster. We can't play Mataito. Yeah, this probably has a bad baby matchup, so this seems good. And then 13. And then because it's an aggro deck, we could do something like Almighty Resistance. That's good. What do you do against something like Blue Yellow Gogeta? We need something to blow up. Energy, maybe? No. We want to go lower to the ground faster. Almost there, guys. Nothing else that I'm dreadfully missing. We could go with Victorious Strike as a alternate bomb play. Yeah, this seems good to me. It would help against, because Victorious Strike can attack things in active mode. Right? Let's double check. I wish it would help against barrier. Where are you, Victorious Strike? Six. Energy costs of 5 or more. Yeah, it's good that we're playing as much Awaken as we do. Oh no, he can't attack Awakened. But he untaps and then he pumps himself and then becomes the viable target. It's cool that Heartfelt Plea can change into him quickly. Yeah, we'll side deck 2 copies. Sure. Place to start. So things I expect this to have. So what are the popular decks right now? So Baby. Baby probably has a very good game 1 against this deck and probably questionable games 2 and 3. Against Beerus. You have more control over... No, you have less control over 1-2 Awaken because you kind of need to attack to make things happen. You know, it's a shame that you don't have any great answers to Topo in the main deck, but once you side an Almighty Resistance, you know, that'll help against Topo a lot. You could always side Beerus Ball as well if you find that Topo... Or Beerus Ball doesn't help against Topo, it helps against Chomp of the Trickster. So Almighty Resistance is actually probably going to be pretty key. You might end up actually main decking that. If you're afraid of barrier, you can bring in Battle to the Death over the Victorious Fists. That'll help against Baby too, because it can pop the barrier 4-drop that comes in, even though the good decks I think run multiple chains at this point. Against Yellow Broly, you should be able to get under them pretty well until they have Nimbus and Topo. In general, I think your deck's going to do really good unless they have all the Topo. But in general, you're drawing more than most decks, other than Beerus, so you should see more Topos over the course of a game. And then Pan the Great Ape Whisperer, if they do rush you down, you should be able to go Pan Heartfelt Plea, and they should be able to help you close things out. But yeah, this is where I would start. As I said, I think, again, the more I look at this deck, the more it feels just like a Beerus variant, which means it may be inferior in general. But I think to make this deck competitive, you really need to look at the unique components of that leader and bring it here. So I guess what I got, I'm sure this is longer than it needs to be, but I hope you all found it helpful and informative. Let me know if you have any other questions. I hope I did a good job of clarifying some of my thought processes, how I utilize different resources, and how I use search engines to identify what card choices to play. Feel free to leave some comments below if there's anything that I can do to help. Other than that, again, shout out to Shenron's Lair, Bearded Collectibles, best shop owner on the planet. And thanks to you all for being here to enjoy this content. Thank you and happy holidays. Okay, bye!